Hey guys, so today we're making some oven baked apple butter beef ribs, and I'm pairing it with some mashed sweet potatoes and some lemon butter broccoli. So let's get started. Okay guys, so first things first, I already washed the ribs and now I'm pat drying it using paper towel to remove any of that extra liquid. And then this is the dish I'm gonna bake it in. So I took the baking dish and I lined it with some foil paper and sprayed it with nonstick cooking spray. Next, I'm gonna place the beef ribs into the dish. So in this small bowl here, I mixed some seasonings together to make a dry rub for the ribs. So in here, I have onion and garlic powder, salt, black pepper, brown sugar, paprika, ground cumin. Check the description box down below for the measurements for everything I'm using in this video, okay? And what you're gonna do is mix all of those seasonings together, create the dry rub, and next I drizzled on a little bit of oil. I'm using grapeseed oil on the ribs. This is gonna help the seasoning, the dry rub, to stick really well on the ribs when we apply it. Okay, so next I'm sprinkling the rub all over the ribs, and then I'm going to use my hands. You can put on gloves if you need to rub each piece of the ribs really well with that dry rub. Okay, this is the seasoning. This is going to give it all of its flavor. Well, that and the sauce will add in a second, but both of them want to add a good amount on the ribs. All right, so cover it really well with that dry rub. Okay, so next, you guys, I roughly chopped up 1 carrot and sliced about half of an onion, and I'm just gonna add that around the sides of the baking dish. Okay, and I only chopped up 1 carrot and I chopped it up into huge chunks. Don't chop it too small because the ribs is gonna be slow cooked for a long time, and we don't want the carrot to basically like overcooked. So you can do more than 1 carrot if you're doing more ribs than I'm doing. Also, I don't think I said it in the beginning of the video, but I added the foil paper to the bottom of the dish because we're going to seal the ribs really well. So you want to add the foil paper and make sure it's overlapping on each end. Okay, so next, guys, we're going to make this delicious apple butter sauce. It's kind of like an apple butter barbecue sauce. It's so delicious on these ribs. So to make it, I'm adding some of my apple butter into my pot, and this is store-bought apple butter, of course, any brand will work. And then I added a little bit of Dijon mustard. Next, I'm gonna add a little bit of red wine vinegar, and also, you guys, excuse me if I mispronounce this name, but I rarely say this name because it's so weird, but Worcestershire sauce, some ketchup, and lastly I added a little bit of the dry rub that we made earlier. There was some left over, so I just sprinkled some of that in there, so about a teaspoon or so, but you could adjust it by tasting the sauce and seeing if you need more of that seasoning. Okay, and then you're going to use a pot spoon to mix all of those ingredients together until it's well combined, and then let that sauce simmer for about 4 minutes, then turn off the stove. Okay guys, so now I'm taking that apple butter sauce and I'm just going to pour it on top of the ribs all over. I'm pouring it on top of the veggies as well, the onion and carrots, and then you want to use a spoon to kind of baste the ribs with that sauce and also lift it up a little so that below the ribs will also get some of that yummy sauce. Okay, you don't have to add all of that sauce in there. You can use about half and save the rest for another recipe. You can use this on chicken as well. So yeah. So next, I preheated my oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to use some more foil paper to completely seal and cover the ribs tightly, and then you're going to place it into the oven at 300 degrees and let that cook and bake for about 2.5 hours. Okay guys, for the sweet potato, you want to cut them into cubes, small cubes. The smaller you cut them, the faster they will cook. Okay, so I cut mine into some quarters and put it into my saucepan and filled it up with water and let that come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you're gonna let that cook until the potatoes are fork tender. Okay, mine took about 10 to 15 minutes to cook since they were cut. So once it's cooked, you're going to remove the water and then place the potatoes into a bowl. Make sure you guys use a larger bowl than you see me using here, because yeah, it's going to be really hard to mix it in a tiny bowl. So place it into a large bowl, and then we're going to add some spices and make the potatoes taste delicious. So I'm going to be using a little bit of ground ginger, some ground cinnamon, some freshly grated ground nutmeg, and also some butter. Okay, so I'm gonna start adding in the butter and then all of those spices I just mentioned. And yeah, you guys, after you do that, you're gonna start mashing up the potatoes a little. I also added a little bit of brown sugar and then some warm whole milk into the potatoes. So you're gonna add the whole milk a little at a time until you have the perfect consistency. And I know right here it looks like I have too much liquid in the potatoes, but I promise you in the end it's gonna absorb all of that liquid and it's gonna be just delicious. So just give everything a good mash, mix it until the potatoes is mashed up and you have creamy, delicious mashed sweet potatoes. Okay, so now let's make the lemon butter broccoli. So the first thing I did was put the broccoli to cook. So I'm gonna like steam it in this pot. I added just a little bit of water. You don't want to add too much water, and I already washed out the broccoli really well, and I'm gonna add some lemon pepper seasoning in there. Give that a mix, then cover it and let it start simmering and steam for about 5 minutes or so until the broccoli is cooked the way you like your broccoli. Okay, so some people might like this a little bit more tender than others. And once it's cooked, you're going to remove any extra water that's left in the pot. So I removed that, put it back on the stove, and now we're going to add some minced garlic and then butter and lemon pepper seasoning. Give everything a good mix and let that cook for about 3 minutes or so, and your broccoli is finished. So there's one last step for the broccoli that I like to do to serve it. That's basically making some lemon pepper butter. So I have some softened butter in my cup and I'm gonna sprinkle in some lemon pepper, give it a good mix, and then you can serve this on top of the broccoli while it's hot. Alright guys, so we're at the 2.5 hour mark of the ribs cooking. So this is what it looks like, and it's looking delicious. It smells even better. It smells so good. So what I'm gonna do at this step, I'm just testing it to see if it's cooked or if it needs more time. Okay, so if it needs more time, you're gonna put it back into the oven to cook for 30 more minutes covered. If it's good, then and it's tender falling off the bone, you're going to remove the foil paper on top, open out the ribs, and you're going to baste it with the sauce inside of the dish. Okay, so just give it a good baste and then preheat your oven to 425 degrees, and then you're going to put the ribs back into the oven at 425 for about 15 minutes, just so it can kind of glaze in that sauce and cook a little bit. Okay, and after about 15 to 20 minutes, you can remove the ribs. And in the end, you should have ribs that look like this. Look at the carrots and the onion in there. Everything just look amazing, you guys. And this rib is so delicious. It pairs perfectly with the mashed sweet potatoes and the lemon butter broccoli. So I'm gonna make a plate and then enjoy. So yeah, you guys, that is basically it for this recipe. This ribs is amazing. I hope you guys give it a try. If you do, let me know, you guys, how it turned out. Leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see my upcoming videos. I appreciate all of your support, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.